So yeah, after all the monkeying around and indecision, I've brought this back up and left this lower. We're not quite where we were before, but we're pretty close to where we were. A gentle slope down. It seems to me, on first impression, that it's a little disinteresting, and I'd like to have something breaking this up. But you know, I'm not sure it would serve the painting well if I did it. If I decide to do it later, I'll do it later. I'll do it after I paint this in. I was a little concerned about this slow drop down to the right. It felt a little bit saggy. But I think there's enough character and there's enough space in the sky. I'm going to swoop up a little bit. That sky is going to become less solidified, and a little freer as we head off, with some filaments and tendrils of cloud here and there, you know? And the drop off here isn't quite as severe as it was before. I think I was up here a little bit. So I think that's going to work. Put it this way, I'm going to commit to it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Also, I've left this sort of toned down, and now I'm going into a little higher values. The higher values aid, I'm trying to make sure that they again aid in this, this is what's going to be coming down here, down across, and then that sort of loop, right? So I'm kind of staying with the lower values a little bit. And lower chromas. I'm using ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, and bits of burnt sienna to keep that chroma down, muddy the waters, as it were. Oh, speaking of which, it's a little bit dangerous what I'm doing right now, because it's you can easily, I have all these vertical strokes this way, and then I have several horizontals. It's very much like painting the water. I have to be careful, though, that I don't make this too strong like this, because it's going to look like foamy water if I do that. And okay, it's ice. It's that spring ice sort of look. And just because I'm using the colors that I am, that might just be sufficient to, to give it that look. But I think what I'd like to do is also get a little bit sloppier in the foreground, not sloppier, changing the direction of the strokes in places, so that we have, so it doesn't look too strong this way. I think a few streaks like this are fine. After all, we are having sun splashing in from the right in this area. But as I get towards the bottom of the painting, I don't want too much of that. I've got to be a little bit careful. So we're just defining this shoreline. A little more clearly than it was. And again, we're going to tone it down as we go here. I'm going to raise the values slightly along the lower right here, but not much. I don't want a lot more in there. I think that's, this is already knife work in here, and it's fairly subdued. Let's try to keep it that way. We don't want to pull our attention over there yet, or at all. So I think looking at our water right now, I'd say it's awfully close to being finished. I thought I was having to replace an old toilet with a new toilet today, but after going there and playing with it, I may have fixed the problem just by tightening up one of the input water pipe, what? The hose that feeds the flush tank to the toilet, I think might have been leaking at the joint where it goes into the flush tank. We're going to see. We'll do a trial run over the next couple of days. It seems to be a bit of a mystery. It's one of those problems that sometimes it's an issue and sometimes it's not. You know, like electrical troubles on a vehicle. If it's not happening while you're trying to diagnose it, it's impossible to diagnose. Yeah, I've also, as you can see, really raised the value in here in places, you know. So we're really getting things to pop now. We have a good variety of color in the water, you know, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, and white. A few strong streaks, keeping it bluer. Then we go to less blue and more yellow ochre. You know, a sort of a warmish, brownish hint of green streak here. And then we get back to some ultramarine here, and then ultramarine, and it's the burnt sienna that really calms down the ultramarine blue here, so our chroma dips down. We're keeping our values fairly high because, again, I want it to do this sort of thing, right? Anyway, the painting it's one of those I'm pecking away at it type paintings, which lately seems to be something I've done a fair bit of. But I'm becoming much happier by the day with the way it's turning out. So, I think that's it for the moment. No, I'll square it off. I'll square the camera off with the painting so that you get a more accurately proportioned view of what we're looking at. And I'll actually drop it a little bit too. Get rid of that glare. Yeah, I think that painting is maturing nicely. We're getting a strong glow where we want the strong glow. See you soon.